Maplestory the Novel, Season 1, Sacred Tears. Written by Tatsumari Korisuno. Chapter 16, Arrival. In the 3 years since his declaration, Dane worked non-stop to find his solution to eliminating the darkness. Using multiple formulas and dozens of small pieces of darkness, he began to close in on a more concrete way to use the darkness for the ultimate light and not become lost in its thrall. For the first 3 months, Dane faithfully visited Ariel's home, surprised by the speed of Ariel's pregnancy, but threw himself into his work at the realization that their plan was coming to fruition. Unfortunately, his attention to his work eroded his visiting Ariel, turning the weeks into months as he pored over his research, cleansing shades of darkness and memorizing the feel of it being pushed away in the local area. As Nanahuatzin told him so long ago, the Aurora crystals amplified the light of his and Ariel's love, but it wasn't enough alone. Absorbing the darkness in small bits and then channeling it as he had in the past did seem to have the desired effect. But at the same time, he could feel the darkness trying to overpower him more with each experiment. With the help of Tasia and Viren, Dane created gems made of concentrated ultimate light. Holding these gems while absorbing the darkness eliminated its effects on him, only to deplete and corrupt the gems after a single use.
It has no form, yet it fills the world. It has no substance, yet it taints even the purest of hearts. It has no will, yet all who see it succumb to it. No greater truth exists.
Dane groaned, leaning against his hand at his desk, clutching his skull and jaw. Below his sight, he opened his palm, revealing scars where the darkness carved his skin like canyons with each experiment.
There has to be a way to channel this darkness without succumbing to its corruption.
If their child would use the darkness to eliminate it, there needed to be a way to avoid corruption. The amounts he or she would be using were thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of times more than Dane was using now. Even an army of Aurora clerics dedicating their light to ensure corruption of the child wouldn't happen wasn't enough. As Dane felt the world close around him, ease washed over him as if a weight had lifted from his shoulders. Coming out of the laboratory, he noticed the acolytes and other clerics could also feel the comfort in the air. "Have you done it, Master?" Viren asked, staring at the air all around them.
No, I didn't do this. This is... Wait here,
Dane instructed, bolting through the chapel's front doors, sprinting for the cottage that used to serve as the base for the Aurora. As he neared, the feeling became stronger, making all the forest's colors seem brighter and more vibrant than he'd ever seen. With only a few more strides, Dane slowed to a walk, peeking around the corner of the cottage to see Ariel facing away from the door. She wasn't here in her spectral form, nor was she using another pseudo-body. It was Ariel, the goddess herself. With respectful and nervous steps, Dane walked closer, realizing just how much time had passed since he'd visited her temple last. Ariel turned to him with an almost blank expression, smiling dimly when she caught sight of him. From his observation, her posture no longer suggested her pregnant form, so he could only assume she held their child within her arms. Dane stopped, swallowing and sucking on his now dry lips. Though again, Dane noticed her arms didn't appear to carry anything.
Ariel! I thought you couldn't come to Eusoria.
He stammered, swallowing again. Ariel's voice wasn't angry, but it didn't have the same warmth he'd known it to have.
I can for short periods, but I must leave much of myself within my home.
Then, are you here to scold me for my scarce visits?
I have been lonely these past 3 years, That's not why I'm here. I thought you should meet your daughter before too much time goes by.
The skin in his hands felt sticky, and a lump formed in his throat.
Daughter?
Yes, our daughter. Our warrior of light.
Ariel smiled, reaching behind her for something. Dane saw a tiny hand gripping the cloth near the edge of her skirt.
Come in. Say hello to your father.
Ariel coaxed, leading a small, blue-eyed girl with long, champagne blonde hair from behind her. The girl reluctantly moved around her legs, clinging to Ariel's skirt and hiding her face against her leg, her light blue dress like a beacon for Dane to see.
How is this possible? She's already so big, yet only 3 years have passed. How old is she?
In Eusorian time, she is 6 years of age. Time within the temple used to flow erratically compared to Eusorian time, accelerating or slowing without reason. Since Rhinne's conception, time within the temple has stabilized to be twice that of Eusoria.
Then, doesn't that mean she will age more quickly? She could surpass us both in age and die before I complete my research.
Her soul is partially mortal, meaning part of her life is tied to Eusorian time, leading to her rapid childhood while in the temple. But her soul is also partly Daephic. Once she has matured, she will age almost imperceptibly. As such, Rhinne isn't fully either. She is something in between. We are in uncharted territory now.
Dane closed the distance between them with slow but happy steps, crouching to see his daughter's soft-featured face better. As he came within arm's reach, Rhinne peeked to look at him, backing away behind Ariel's skirt once more with wide eyes.
Mommy?
She whimpered, clutching at Ariel's skirt more until she knelt and put an arm around her, bringing her to the front once more.
It's all right. Dane is your father. He won't hurt you.
Dane reached out his hand, scooting closer to allow her tiny hands to reach him. Before she touched him, Rhinne backed away into Ariel's arms, whimpering again until Ariel hushed her gently and reached out her hand instead, placing it in Dane's palm.
See, there's no need to worry.
Timidly, Rhinne unfurled from Ariel's embrace, reaching out and putting a hand in Dane's next to Ariel's. Dane felt the world change. He could feel his eyes begin stinging as a lump formed in his chest, and the weight of his responsibility hit, not to the world, but to his daughter. This child wasn't just a weapon. No, not a weapon, not in the slightest. Her large doe eyes further distorted his vision, wiping his own. Rhinne was his daughter, a part of his flesh, a part of his very soul, and it was his duty to care for and guide her as she grew, not simply use her. Slowly, he closed his thumb around her soft, tiny hand and gently shook it in greeting.
Hi there, Rhinne. I'm your father.